Welcome to GCM Talks. Before we get started, I just wanted to give you an idea of what the session is going to look like today. So our panelist, Dina, will be speaking with you for a few minutes to share her experiences with you. As she's going along, feel free to use the Q&A feature, which you can find in the bottom bar of your Zoom window to ask questions. And then at the end of Dina's talk, there will be time for Q&A, and we'll either be answering the questions, responding to the questions on the fly as we go along, or ones that we think would be great to answer live, we'll do at the end of the talk. So without further ado, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you Dina. So Dina is a communication expert with diverse experience of over 15 years in communication, media, and the publishing industry fields. Dina's experience ranges from community-related projects in arts and culture to marketing consulting for government institutions, NGOs, and tech startups. Dina is the co-founder and managing director of the CEE Network, a community-driven media service agency that firmly believes in the power of community networking. She also runs CEE Kuwait, an online platform that supports and highlights individuals and community activities to the public via social media. Alongside of that, Dina has a proven track record in structuring and implementing result-generating strategies. In her years in Kuwait, she has consulted with government NGOs and tech startups to create marketing strategies. Dina launched the English Al-Watan Daily newspaper as general manager and acting editor-in-chief. She was also content manager for Newsweek magazine, published for the MENA region in Arabic through the CEE Kuwait, and through CEE Kuwait helped kicked off several community-related projects in arts and culture. Dina has a Bachelor of Technology from Graphic Communications Management and a minor in Marketing and Entrepreneurship and Innovation from Ryerson University in Toronto, Canada. And on a personal note, I can tell you that Dina was also one of my students. So welcome, Dina, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you for this intro. Well, I'd like to say thank you for putting this together, and thank you, Talisha, and thank you, Darson, for being behind the scenes heroes for this today. My name is Dina Al-Mallak. I'm currently talking to you from Kuwait. Graduated in 2006. I've not met anyone who ever understood what graphic communication management was when I first told them. I always have to explain, and I assure you, you will always have to explain that forever, but it's a good thing. I've been invited to talk about my career journey today. So I've broken it up into 3 parts: my internship, my career journey, and the phase I'm at right now, which is I've started my own business, my marketing agency, and would share that part with you too. So my internship was in Kuwait. What I did was I emailed a print company, it's a printing and publishing house in Kuwait, and I explained what I'm studying and that I would like to work for free for them during the summer. And they never had an intern before. They probably didn't know what to do with me, which I found out that they didn't know what to do with me, and kept confirming if I was serious with what I was asking. I told them, yes, I was serious. And when I'm done, you'll get a report on my experience and my suggestions, because I knew it all. I suggest, and I actually really recommend that when you do think of having an internship abroad, that you also research the culture within the company or the industry in that country. Commonly, you would want to work overseas, and you get excited because you're going to go to this site to visit, or this restaurant, or if it's a foreign language, you might brush up on it. In my case, I knew another language, Arabic. I speak Arabic fluently, and I thought it would be easy, or it wouldn't be difficult for me to communicate. It wasn't difficult, but the difficult part, there's no difficult part actually, but was different was that they didn't know, I've never heard of GCM or such a program, and they were not sure why I wanted to spend a summer in the print department. Um, they thought it was an assignment. So basically, when I did arrive, I was asked to sit in the manager's office, and every week I would go to a department, and that was the schedule they came up with, so that it would help me with my report. They thought it was an assignment I had to do after third year. And then I explained to them, or tried, that I know more. So they just told me to stick to your schedule and carry on going to different departments and learning from them. In the beginning, it was a bit disappointing, but I didn't let it get disappointing for me, and I made the best out of it. So I sought out the information or the kind of things that I was interested in to learn. So what happened in my internship then, it was, they were it was most of both way fascination. They were fascinated by the knowledge I had. I was fascinated by, it's actually happening. These people actually do this for a living. But it wasn't a place for someone like me, whether it was female or education. These kind of positions and jobs were reserved for a very skilled, low-paying jobs. Mind you, they had solutions for everything. Every print issue, you know, they're more skilled than other people who were probably educated in this field. But it wasn't a place I would apply for coming back. It was just an experience, kind of like a full summer of workshops for me. I did plates, I did stuff at the pre-press, cut film, but I knew this is not going to be a career I can pursue in that country or in this company for a matter. So if you are in a similar situation and if you are interested in doing something abroad, look into the company so that you don't get disappointed. I didn't get disappointed. I enjoyed my experience. I kept asking if it's okay to try this or to spend more time. And they were always happy to accommodate. It's just that they didn't know what I was interested in. And then I came back to finish my fourth year at GCM. I knew after doing my fourth year that I didn't want to apply for a job in Canada. I enjoyed my summer in Kuwait, and I wanted to come back and find something to do, a job there. And I tried the same company, but I knew I wasn't going to do that, or they wouldn't have taken me for that. And they came back. I was offered a position in business development. They had an English language newspaper, and they made me work and be in charge of the distribution and some of the marketing. So I would be responsible of getting ads. It was a bit of sales, a bit of marketing. I was just learning. I was new to the country. I didn't know my way. Just that summer was my only reference. And I got the job. I took the job, the offer. And what was nice was that I was still in touch with the print department. So I kind of knew people in that company and didn't lose touch throughout that 1 year by just saying hello or greetings for any national day or national event. Later, working in the publishing house, I got interested in editing, and I was very fortunate that I worked at a publishing house that had a manager, actually was the owner, who was very encouraging. He kept encouraging people who wanted to, or employees who wanted to learn to, and push them further. So I got the position to launch a fully brand new English newspaper, which Jason mentioned in my intro, which was Al-Watan Daily. And for someone really young to launch and national newspaper, that was a huge deal for me. It was very scary, but somehow I think maybe being young at that time, I didn't feel the fear. I was more excited, but it hit me a little bit later. It was 8 years of doing that, and at that point, my GCM experience was now launching a brand new newspaper means what font we're going to be using, what's the maximum font we're going to go for headline, the body of the text, how to do the columns, what size of the newspaper. At that point, in Kuwait, there's like different sizes of newspapers. So there's no standard size, and it was getting fancy. So you had to decide which size we wanted, colors. We had to do calculations on how each issue or each print run will cost, so that learn how to how many colored pages means more cost, how many ads, and do all these ratios. And it was a lot of work, but it was a good experience because I got to do it step by step and see that. Again, stuff that you learn, I know you will always have to explain what GCM is. It's because it's always diverse, but it's a place that can take you as a stepping stone to different kinds of career paths. So like you heard in the bio that Jason just gave you, that I launched an English newspaper. I interned working in the print department. I started working with content, so editing for an Arabic publication. And then I started being more interested in cultural events and more in marketing. And with that, I started CEE Kuwait, which meant CEE Kuwait, community-wise, what's happening. And it was just stuff that I post about stuff happening around Kuwait so that people can go to. There wasn't anything like Time Out magazine or similar to that had a reference that you could find out things. And that's what I did. I started posting, and my networking skill or my networking tool that I used was I'll post everything for you for free. But if you were like a museum or an art gallery or something similar to that, I'm sure you're going to have an entire season of content. So let's meet face to face and know each other so we can put a face to the content that you're going to be sending me. And I will be the extension of your bulletin board, announcing stuff that you'll be doing. With time, that later pushed me to start seeking this as a full-time job. I wanted to do my own campaigns. I had my own ideas on what kind of agency I would like. And then the thought kept growing until I co-founded it with my husband. He has the technical skills. I have the networking and connections. Kept that business going by, well, the way we describe our company is a community-driven marketing agency. So we work with companies, corporates, applications, startups, and we do their marketing and their event strategies. We also host events and we do gatherings. And what we've done for the gatherings Kuwait is very, very small. You have to understand that. It's really tiny. So finding creatives is not as diverse as maybe in Toronto or any other city. It's very limited because of the population, and it's a specific talent. So it would be nice that we all kind of know each other, or at least know of each other. There's no union or official industry that would allow you to meet such people. So instead of complaining, my husband and I started doing that in our office and creating some sort of a hub where they can meet each other and maybe support each other, maybe collaborate with one another. And that's what we've been doing for the past 3 years. And then started So our meetings would screen their movies if they were filmmakers, or maybe music samples, or just talk. And through talk, we found that creative rights are not being protected. So it's your copyright. You have issues of someone's logo being stolen and some other company took it, or you pitch an idea and the company goes ahead and does the ad. Where do we go? How are we protected? And it got us to, somehow we got involved in narrowing down all these issues that we have, or people were announcing, creatives were announcing, to upgrading or participating in upgrading that law, the copyrights law. And in 2019, that got upgraded to something better and something where we could protect our rights as creators. It was a very exciting year, 2019. It was only last year, but we celebrated that law by creating a bigger event, called it Film, Art and Networking, always networking. And just told everyone, by the way, this law has been implemented, you have rights, and explained that to the attendees. I don't know what else you would like to know about starting up, or what you would like to know about starting an agency, but it's long hours. You will always wear different hats, regardless of whether you're the owner or not. There's always a big decision of hiring full-time or freelancers. I'm not a designer, so I think designers get it pretty tough at agencies. There's a lot of re-edits. It's not as creative maybe as they might feel, or maybe it is. It depends on whichever, or the kind of agency you work at and the kind of clients they have. I'm looking at them to see if there's any questions, if there aren't any. What I'd like to say is that what you learn at GCM, again, is a stepping stone to many career paths. And I'm an example of that. I'm glad I chose this program. I didn't face limitations on what I can do with my career. In fact, I felt that, oh, I could go this way, or I could go that way. I can take different routes, and again, not limited. And I learned something at GCM that was not within our course work, which was networking. That's a tip I learned, and I continued applying that. And that was not a class. Today, I advocate for creative advocate for creatives and through networking and for their copyrights. I don't know, I can't predict the future, but we can be prepared for it. I mean, if anything is like 2020, we learned that we need to be versatile and adapt to change. I believe that in this program that you're in, you could do the same too. Opportunities are really not limited. You just need to get out there and not be discouraged that because of COVID, you might not be hired. In fact, I think there's more opportunities. Maybe you can get more than one job by being at home, because I myself, my husband and I, since March, we have not been into the office. We actually closed our office. We noticed that it's an expense more than a something we would pursue in today's time. So we stopped, and work hasn't stopped yet. Can see a question. Is it harder to find a job? I have been thinking of working in Kuwait too, but unsure about the opportunities available. Would you say, is it harder place to find a job? It depends on what the job is that you are going to be applying for. I don't know what kind of, if it's printing or if it's it's an agency. I'm not sure. Is there another question?
Hi, Dina.
Okay.
We did get one question come in earlier, and one of the questions that we received was, what are some of the challenges you experienced when starting your own business?
The challenge was, see, it's over here. The permit requests you to get a lot of things ready beforehand. So you have to have a budget. This is the laws here at Kuwait. So you have to have a budget in advance. You have to have your office. You have to have paid the rent for that place. So it was the expense in advance that was very draining. But once you get your first client, you think you can, 10 others are going to come. It's basically, the challenge is learning how to communicate as an employee is different than when you communicate as a company owner with clients. And that difference can either sometimes affect the relationship or not. And that was something that I learned pretty late. I think I used to work from the employee aspect, even though I was a company owner. That was one thing. And the finances, just make sure your finances are set and upfront. That's what I. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, feel free to put any questions that you have in the Q&A panel as we go along.
Okay.
This is a really great opportunity to communicate with Dina. Dina, I have another question here.
Sure.
What made you decide to do an internship abroad, and specifically Kuwait?
I spoke the language. I was born there. I had family there, but I've never been there since I was a child. So it was curiosity, more of a family visit / let's try something new. And then I never left.
That's fantastic.
There were a few questions that was sent by Tanisha. I think you guys did a poll. And one of the things was whether you should start a master's degree or work abroad. I don't know about working abroad, but I would say I gain some experience first and then go for your master's, because if I had gone for my master's right after school, I would be very disappointed at what I would pick. Maybe not, but the kind of degree I would want today will complement what I might want to back then, but I think you would change. I've gone through so many changes, and it's not intentional, or it's just you change, or your interests just change. So I would wait and hold off till I really know what kind of career, or I'm set on some career. Same thing with starting your own business. I would also take some experience before going out there and starting my own. Because you need to know what's going on in these agencies that you're talking about before setting up your own.
Very good. We have a couple more questions here. What are some of the differences? What are some of the differences between acting as a business owner as opposed to a company employee?
Okay, so a company employee, technically, it's the job. This is what you need to do. Sometimes as an employee, there were jobs that we weren't happy with, maybe clients we weren't happy with. But the job as an agency, you are supposed to, you're not supposed to, but you should make your clients happy. But in the case of being a company owner, I can pick and choose what kind of clients I'd like to take. Whereas those decisions were not my decisions back when I was an employee. And through that, I might have done a good choice or a bad choice, because there are good clients and bad clients, just the good agencies and bad agencies. So I think that would be the issue. We've made mistakes a few times and got hurt by that. So as an employee, I'd be protected, but as a owner, I've not only affected my company, but maybe everyone else. So it's it's a different responsibility.
Fantastic. I have another question here for you. What advice can you give to students who are currently looking for internships, but are anxious about being hired or not due to lack of experience?
Honestly, I don't think a lot of people have, okay, this is gonna sound different, but I think everyone has some sort of experience or some skill that is better than one another, even if you don't have it as an official job on your CV. We've hired so many people who just fresh grads because of that passion, or because it was showed in some way that they're willing to learn and adapt and commit. In the end, as a company owner, you don't want to waste time on a fresh grad that will change his or her mind later. So if you show me dedication, I would be willing to train and or show you the ropes, basically. So I would think maybe showing some seriousness or assertiveness in the kind of internships that they would like to apply for, and that they, as a company, I don't feel like I'm reading one of many applications you've sent out, like not thought of. I would really want to know that you want to work and intern at my company and not to everyone else. Does that make sense in a way? I don't know if I worded it right.
No, that makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
I have another question here. It's a little bit complex, but I'm gonna walk through it. Could you touch on your definition and experience with networking, not specifically the high level thinking of the word, like networking meetings and events, but more specifically how it applies when we think about networking in teams, whether they're small or big, as well with managers and leaders?
You know, very early on, I learned that the worst thing that's going to happen when you approach someone is that they're going to turn around or just not say something to you. And as embarrassing as it may seem, it's not that big of a deal. It's their loss if they didn't talk to you. So I think you should be a little bit brave and just be at those events that you think you want to be part of, or the industry or the culture that you want to be part of. I knew I wanted to have an account, for example, that would show you the CEE Kuwait account that would highlight things happening around Kuwait. It wouldn't make sense if I don't show up to these. So I had to show up to these so that people can associate. I used to do that a lot. It took a lot of my time. So every weekend I'm at some gallery, some music event, just to show up and show that this is something I really want to pursue. Mind you, I was just posting it for them for free. The next account is charging them, but I was like, no, I'm dedicated. It's all about culture. So I think it's those small, meaningful relationships that when they grow and somehow gets linked into business, into a career, into an opportunity, you just never know. Same thing with graduates from GCM. The ones that were in my class back in the day, I maybe not have spoken, we didn't speak, but after graduation, somehow our paths crossed, and that little rapport we had back then made a big difference.
Fantastic, thank you.
Yeah.
I have another question for you. What advice would you give about finding mentors to help offer opportunities for growth like you had? A mentor can offer a lot of safety nets when you're challenged or rising to a new task and occasion at hand.
That's true. I mean, I was 25, I think, when I was told you're going to start a local national English newspaper. I had no training for that. I was excited. I was young, and brave enough to say yes, not thinking about all the negative parts, not just the positive. Yay, I'm an editor-in-chief. But I don't know how. I just personally, I got lucky. I wouldn't know how to seek out. I think that comes from within the mentor, maybe, not from us seeking out. I'm not sure. I don't have an answer for that. I just know I got lucky. Sorry.
That's okay. What made you choose GCM originally?
To be honest, I like the print side. I like the community side. And then I like the story behind it. Back then I was reading the story, Mary Black, and how she brought the school together. And it just sounded like something I'd want to learn. And then as I kept going through the course syllabus, I said, oh, this is something I'd like to learn. This is something. And it was just very different. And I said, sure. It didn't seem like, not to mention any, like, I don't know, but it didn't seem very specific. It didn't say engineer. It didn't say doctor. It didn't say, it just said there were so many things you can do. And I was young at that time and wanted that diversity and different options, just in case I didn't want to do that when I graduate. But I ended up doing a lot from that program.
Fantastic, thank you. So putting on your business owner hat,
Okay.
have you ever fired a client?
Yes, we did. We did fire a client, and mind you, my business partner, is also my husband, who thought that was a really bad idea. But the client came back, and that was a good thing. But what we did was we were very adamant at our point of view on how to approach something, and they said they wanted something else creatively, and we said that's not what we're going to be able to do. So find someone else who would go with you creatively that way. And they disappeared for a while. Then they came back and said, you know what, let's just do it your way. And we got our client back. But yeah, we do. And we have also a limit on the number of clients we take, so that they all know that they're being taken care of. And the limit is 6. We do not take more than 6 clients a year on contract, because that way they all know that they're being focused on and taken care of. One goes away, then there's a spot for the next one.
That's fantastic. What was your favorite experience that you had at GCM, and why?
Favorite experience? I think the tea. Do you still do that?
We do variations of it. You're talking about the tea with Mary?
Yes, I like that. I enjoyed that. That was very unique. I still talk about that to everyone and say, do you know, in our program we used to have tea with the dean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very
yeah.
That was very, very special, actually.
Bring that back. It's fun.
As soon as we can all be together again.
Yeah.
We definitely will look at that. Another question came through. What skills or attributes do you think have contributed most to your success?
I think personality-wise, my curiosity. So I always was like, can I do this? Is it okay to do that? And then they always go like, yeah, fine, just do that. So that was one thing. But I think your openness to learn. You are going to graduate from the program, and you are going to have information that is probably more than people who are actually in the industry. But you'll soon find out that there's different ways that are there's ways and structures that these companies are set up and done that might not that they might not be ready for the new ideas that you're coming up with. So be patient before you start telling them, did you know you can erase all this department and then put one computer and then everything is fine? I'd hold off to that. So I would say patience and skill. You're outgoing, to try to be outgoing and voice and vocalize what you'd want to learn or what departments you want to be at. And then just be open and adapt to change, because it's always going to change. If I start a newspaper today, it's going to be completely different to back in 2007 when we did that. I might not even do that today. I don't think I would, but just be also aware of what's going on in trends. If you want to be into marketing, then you really need to know all the marketing tools. I don't want them to keep growing. These marketing tools are losing track. But they're very useful, and you should know that if that's the career path you want to go. Because I've been looking at the questions, and a lot of questions are about working in marketing and starting your own business and life at an agency. So I think I touched up on that. Is there anything you want me to touch up more on?
Well, I have one more question that came through. If you could travel back in time and go to GCM again, what would you tell yourself to do? So something that worked and something that you wish you could do differently.
I think I'd relax more and not worry about the coursework as much. I think as students, or me as a student back then, it was like, if you don't know this definition or this formula or this whatever, it would be like no one's ever going to hire you. So I think just relax and study, read, go to your test, but it's not make or break, life threat. I was a bit too serious about it. I think I would be easier on myself when it comes to studying. I just think that I spent a lot of time studying.
And what advice would you give your past self about something that you think worked really well in your time at GCM?
I think I was lucky with a good crowd. My graduating class was a nice graduation class. I think I enjoyed my years there, so they made it easier for me too. So that was one of my positive experiences there too. Fantastic. I mean, you and I talking right now is another positive experience. I did the math from graduation. It's 14 years, which means we know each other a lot longer. There were proof of that.
Yep.
And throughout the years, we've always managed to communicate, whether it's this or that, and we've kept in touch. So just this is positive from GCM.
I couldn't agree more. We have one more question that came through the Q&A. If we did not do a minor in marketing, are there some tips you have for getting into that section of the industry? So somebody who wants to go into marketing but didn't take the marketing minor at GCM.
That's okay. There's a lot online that you can do. So now marketing is also closely linked to sales tools. So if you go through something like getting certificates on Google to learn how to get all the sponsored ads and learn the not the algorithm, but the back end of how these ads are, that's a very useful certificate than having a minor in marketing. And you can do those online at your own time. So the self skills are also important, and you can get certified online for them. And I would recommend doing that. That would be more useful if I were to hire someone than a marketing minor.
Fantastic. Did you ever do any career planning or big career goals you wanted to achieve, or did you just go with the flow? So how much of your career was designed and how much was, I guess, sort of fate or just how things evolved?
I A bit of both. So I started thinking I was going to be I just enjoyed it. So I thought I would be quality control on all prints printed at a production company or a print house. That was that wasn't going to happen when I went to Kuwait. And then I got interested in editing. And maybe that happened was a coincidence because of the atmosphere. It was a publishing house and a print house. So that was where I was going with the flow. But where I am today, I know I want to have selected clients so that I can do the marketing or the strategies that I want. My husband's a filmmaker, so he wants to do the commercials and stuff that he wants. I don't know. The advocating for copyrights, the networking. I think both my husband and I've built a little bubble of ours that I'm happy with, and it's because we picked it, stuff that we want to do, and I think now I'm where I want to, but before, kind of, yes, up and down with the flow.
That's fantastic. Any other questions for Dina?
Well, you're more than welcome to email and ask me questions. I don't mind.
We had one come through.
Okay.
Any advice to fourth-year students who are nervous about entering the job market?
I don't blame you. It doesn't sound very promising when you hear about the job market, but as a company owner, and I'm sure other companies, we're also learning how to still hire and keep the social distancing with the times that we're in. So if I give you an example of our company, we had an office, we have employees that come in and have office hours. Now that's all gone. So we've learned that that structure doesn't work with us anymore. And slowly we're trying to hire via online. You don't need to see us. So it might be a slow process for companies to figure that out. We're still figuring that out. But I've also seen an entire new section, and that's just locally on LinkedIn, for example, that is remote. I didn't even know that existed. I don't know if that was something I just recently discovered or it was already there. But that tab has been increased. The opportunities have been increasing. So I don't think you should be worried, because there is a mix of people still going into work and people still hiring online, and the opportunities are still there. It's just we're all figuring it out right now, just to be safe.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, Dina, on behalf of the School of Graphic Communications Management and everyone here, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. I think this was really amazing, just to hear your story and hear your journey, and you know, really understand what you know, what you did to get to where you are today. I think it's very inspirational, and I know everybody here at GCM is just so amazed and and proud of everything that you've accomplished. And
Thank you.
you know, we're always looking forward to seeing what you have going on next. So thank you very much on behalf of everybody here. And without further ado, I'll say thank you to all of our attendees for joining us today. And if you think of any questions that you have afterwards, feel free to send them to us. We can certainly get them to Dina one way or another. So thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.